And okay, so yesterday we had some issues with the scraper when I was just uploading that to the EC2 instance. So I prepared one application. Oh, I just prepared one application that I'm not sure if you have already seen it, but in this case it will be quite an easy application. Let's take a look. I did here prepare something called animal scraper, and let's take a look at it. Let's take a look at what it does. Let me open that with VS Code. Cool. So yeah, basically it's going to use Selenium, TQDM, and this is a class that will go to a website and it will just scrape to get some images of an animal. Cool. And let me just open the other one here as well. Animal scraper. Open with Visual Studio Code, and this is going to be the main script. The main script is going to import animal scraper to this main script. Then it's going to ask us about an animal, and then it's going to get images from that animal. Let's put headless equals to false just to see how it works before doing anything. Cool. All right, no module named Selenium. Let me just base run Zell. I'm just going to put doc to begin with. Hopefully they haven't changed the layout of the website since yesterday. And we have a problem here. And okay, what's going on? What is going on? No sandbox. Let me just remove the options for now. We'll put them eventually. Let's restart and run Zell. Doc again. Wait, what's going on here? I mean, I saw this was working yesterday. What is going on? What is going on? No error conflict. Star crashed. What am I using? Chrome driver. Instead of that, I'm just going to. I think this was deprecated, so I'm just going to put it like this. And cool. Restart and run the Zell again. What the hell? What's going on? Less. What am I missing now? So driver. Okay.
I think there's a comma there that shouldn't be there, Ivan.
Oh. Oh no.
Oh, okay, that should.
Yeah, no,
okay.
but yeah, there was an open.
Okay, so there's something there
because of the,
yes. Okay.
Dang it. Did they update anything yesterday? God dang it. What's happening now? Come on.
Got an extra bracket on the second one.
I thought. Oh. Okay. Sorry about this, guys. I will remove this part from the demo. Okay, not working. Wait, this should. What's going on? I mean, I swear this was working yesterday.
I mean, if it helps, Ivan, I've been having problems with my code as well, even though I haven't changed anything.
Okay. Let's try it from the terminal. I'm not sure if that has something to do. Why? I mean, why is it working now? What the hell? Anyway, it's working now. Probably it was because of my Jupyter notebook, something like that. Anyway, we have all these doc images that are being downloaded now. Okay, so let's take a look at the folder. And now we have this folder with all the docs that we just extracted. All right, nothing really fancy. Probably already know how to do it without much complications. So let's script it. Let's containerize it, and let's move that to the EC2 instance. Now, I'm going to need your help, guys. I'm going to need your help here. I'm just going to copy this. Don't worry, because I don't expect you to remember all the commands from the Docker file. But I will ask you if I'm missing something on the Docker file, or if I'm adding extra information on the Docker file. So once again, let's go to Animal Scraper. Let me just remove this folder. Trash and opening terminal. So I'm going to create the Docker file here. And I'm going to modify it. Just copy that. Good. All right, so that's our Docker file. Very similar as the very thing we had yesterday. So I'm going to remove this, and I want you guys to help me. Am I missing something, or should I remove something? Or should I change something?
Is the
scraper on CMD.
Okay, so what should I write here? What should I be running now?
Animal scraper.py.
Correct. Yes, scraper.py, and I think I should do it. So I'm going to save it to file. Good. Okay, and another thing that I should change here. Oh, sorry. In this file, just going to, once again, I'm going to add these options, and I'm going to comment this back in. But anything I'm missing here? Anything, should I change anything from here?
Headless should be true.
Correct. Very well. Okay, now that's saved. So let's take a look again at the terminal. Okay, let me zoom in a little bit. Oops. Now, once again, I will need your help. So how can I create the image? Well, the Docker image, of course.
Docker build. Give it a name.
Cool. So what's the tag that I have to use?
Dash name.
No, not exactly in this case. That can work if you are going to run a container. But in this case, I'm going to build an image.
T?
Yes, T as in tag, and I'm going to call it animal test, and one more argument.
It should be a dot.
Yes, correct. Because that's basically the directory in which the Docker file will be found. Cool. This should take just a few seconds actually. In the meantime, let's open a new terminal, and I'm going to go to my EC2 instance. Good. So just to test this out, let's see if it runs on the container. So docker run, and in this case it was animal scraper, animal test, right?
So,
Once again, am I missing something? While you are thinking, I'm going to sign in here. Any idea what could be missing now? Well, I guess lack of response means that nothing is missing.
is it the interactable thing?
Yes, exactly. A bit late, I've already run it, but
Right.
no worries. It's actually taking a lot of time. I'm not sure what's going on. I think it just froze. Okay, there we go. Exactly. Now it got to the input and it's saying something's wrong here, something that it doesn't like. So yeah, to make it interactable, we can use the -it flag, and now we can interact with the basically with the container. And enter the name of the animal. Let's say cat, just to vary a little bit, and let's see if it works. Good. So far so good. Yep. Downloading everything should work fine. Now, this is going to be a little bit of useless thing, right? I'm going to show you now how to upload everything to the S3 bucket. Don't worry. But what happens with those images? Can I use them now? Because as you know, or as you will know eventually, a Docker container is like a virtual machine. As I mentioned yesterday, it's not actually a virtual machine. It's going to be just some sort of small computer in which you are going to run your application. But that's going to be isolated from the computer. And right now, we didn't save anything. Yeah, we didn't save anything that the scraper is downloading. And if we want to take a look at the container, container ls, that container is not there anymore, because once it finishes running the application, it will just die. It will just it will basically be destroyed. Now, what we can do, which is going to be a little bit of a workaround for different solutions, because ideally what you want to do is just send that to an S3 bucket or something like that. What we can do is run this thing here, but at -d. That's detached mode, and that will prevent the container to finish or to be destroyed once the application finishes. Let's run that. Okay, and as you can see, nothing happened. That's basically because we're just using the container. I mean, we're just running the container, but we actually need to run on the background. So it's not asking us anything, because we are not going to be able to interact with it yet. So what we can do here, which will be execute, we can just go with the name, of the container. So docker container. Let's take a look at all the containers we have. And as you can see here, now this container is up and running. So we can get inside it, copy by saying docker execute the name of the container. Once again, we have to do it interactively. So don't forget about the IT. And then inside that container, we want to get access to the shell. It would be like if we were using the terminal inside that small computer. So in this case, to do that, we can go with bin and bash. And you will know that we are on a, so to speak, a different computer because this thing here has changed. Let's take a look at what we have inside. We can do the same commands as you can do on your own machine. So let's go with ls, and animal scraper is here. So let's use that. We can go with Python animal scraper.py, and here we can go with cat. Now this is going to download. Let me just start my EC2 instance in the meantime. Oh, sorry. Here, North Virginia, I guess. Cool, that's running. I'm going to connect to it now. Good, so the scraper has finished. Let's take a look at the files we have now. Oops. Now, if we go with ls again, we should be able to see here a folder called cat, which wasn't there before. Nice, but still, that cat folder will be only inside the Docker container. Well, not to worry, we can still do some stuff with the files that we have inside the Docker container. We can copy that folder and move that to a local computer. This is not going to be something that you will need, but it's definitely something useful in case you want to debug your container. So you can exit the container, and let's take a look at this file, at this command called cp. Same as when you want to copy something on your terminal. So docker cp. Let's take a look at the documentation. Yep, you will have options, and then you have to write the container name, the path, or well, the folder or whatever you want to copy, and then you will put the destination path. Okay, so looks pretty simple. Let's go with cp. In this case, it was I think, yep, that was the name of the container. Now we want to copy src path. src, oh sorry, src path is actually the source path, so in this case it will be cat, and destination will be dot. Let's see, and now we have a folder called cat. Oops, let's take a look at what we have inside, and yep, whatever we put inside that container is now available on our local machine. So as I mentioned, this is not going to be something that you will have to do, but it's definitely very useful in case you want to debug your container or whenever you want to debug your Docker file or anything related to Docker. Just being able to navigate through the containers and through its content, it's always very, very helpful. Good. Any question with this?
I've got one.
Yep.
Maybe it's just more of a clarification of the steps here. Could we?
Yeah. Sorry, maybe I was a little bit was rushing things here because, as I mentioned, it wasn't very necessary. But yeah, please go ahead.
It was more from the top. So when you could you just scroll up? So
yeah.
I'm
not sure if I cleared the terminal.
No, that's fine. That's what I needed. The Docker run.
Yes.
Animal test, because you put the D tag in there, it didn't necessarily run the Python file, but it created the container to run it. and then you use the execute command to actually run the file within. Is that right?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Correct. Be careful with this. Be careful with this detach mode. It not always work because let's say that what it does, or when you say docker run -d and then the name of the image, it will run all the instructions you have on your Docker file. In this case, it will run all of whatever you put here when you built it, and then it will run this command. But since we put that in detach mode, what will happen is that it will try to run it, and if it throws an error, then it will just the container will just disappear. Docker will just clear that container. But in our case, since we put also IT before it, we are telling Docker that if it's expecting an input from our side, don't break, just leave the Docker container running. If for some reason your file or your script has other different error apart from expecting an input, then the container will break directly.
Okay, so this only works because it's got an interactive element.
Not necessarily. I mean, if you don't put any interactive element, it will still work. The only thing what I meant before is that if your code doesn't work at all, if for some reason you have I just go with something random here because I commit some sort of error, then if I try to run that on the command here, what did I put my Docker file? Well, let's just open from here. If at this stage your code breaks, then the container will break as well.
Okay, yeah, I think I understand that.
Cool. And so let's go back here. All right, so you run it, and since you're expecting or you're telling it to expect an input, it doesn't throw the error of end of the file. Even though it's even though you didn't pass anything, it will just be prevented from that error, basically.
Okay.
Good. Any other question?
Yes. Why the destination is a dot?
Oh yeah, because the dot basically means current directory.
Okay.
Here, it's basically I'm telling, all right, copy that in this directory. So yeah, as you can see, if we take a look at the we take a look at animal scraper folder, cat is here now. And let's see if it worked. Oh no, I think I put default. Good. Nice one. All right, but I guess, so I was saying, I guess you don't want to know how to do that. Sorry, I know this was going to be a Q&A session, but I wanted to make sure that we were that you know how to use these Docker containers and the Docker commands. All right, so instead of downloading the images, what we are going to do is basically download and upload those images. In this case, I'm not going to bother with creating a temporary directory. I'm just going to create a new method to upload those images. So upload images, let me just import. Don't forget to import all, of course, both 3. And let me just select the interpreter. So it should be base. Nice. Cool. So now Vultr3 is recognized, and I'm going to create a client. Client is going to be Vultr3. But as we were watching yesterday, as we were seeing yesterday, we need to specify different parameters for this, or different arguments for this client. So those will be AWS key ID. It's going to be, in this case, input enter your key ID, secret key, AWS region. Good. So here we pass as an argument all of that. Let me just put this a little bit more clear. Okay. So far so good, right? We already saw this yesterday. And now when we upload the images, we are going to call self. I'm going to do this, as always, I'm going to do this not very efficiently, because this should be contained in a different method, but in this case, I'm just going to call both methods that are going to point to the same folder. So, source list is none, okay. Mention not found, cool. Let me check. These should be animal, all right. So in this case, we saw that whenever we scraped images from cats, the creator folder had the name of the creator folder was cat. If we scraped dog images, the folder was named dog, so on and so forth. So we are going to look inside that folder. Now let's say folder is going to be actually self.image, animal, which is going to be the name of the animal that we provided. And then we are going to tell it to go to that folder and start scraping and start uploading everything. So actually I have it here. I think that would be easier. I'm just wondering if I should that on the same for loop. Let's do that on the same for loop so we save time. So sorry about it. Just going to comment that out. I'm just going to do everything on the same for loop so we save time. Client, upload file. And in this case, we are going to upload everything to, let's take a look at the packets that we have available. S3. And we have, March packet test. Let me just remove everything so it doesn't, it's not permanently. Yeah, so that's not bothering us anymore. Let's close this. Now the bucket is empty. And let's put that name here. Good. That should do it. That should do it. We define the client. We define the upload file. The upload file method. First of all, let's try to once again run this. Then I will try to run the Docker file with that, and then I will put that into an EC2 instance. So I think I saved everything. And let's go with one. Cool. So now it's going to ask us about the AWS key ID. So let's create a new one because I think I don't have any available here. Just in case you don't remember how to do it, this is going to be a good opportunity to remember. Go to users, add users, username. Let's go with test animal, access key, permissions. Just put administrator access, review, and create user. Cool. We can copy this. Now let's copy the secret access key, copy that. And now the region is should be the same one as here, March packet test. So US East 1. Good. So with that, everything looks, I mean, so far it doesn't throw any error. That's a good sign. Let's take a look at the bucket and see if something appeared. Yes, we have a folder called Iguana with let's see how many images, around 20 something. Yep, 24 images. Good. That means that everything's going to work fine. So let's create an animal test. So in this case, I'm not going to use the detach mode. Okay, so let's go. Any preference for the animal?
Elephant.
Okay, let's see if it at least find. Oh, dang it, sorry, I didn't build it. I didn't build the image, so it's not going to reflect any change that we just made. Well, good thing is that it's very quick. Okay, so sorry, once again, Docker build animal test. Okay, so I'm going to run this like on the background, but if you have any question while I'm running this, don't hesitate. Like any question related to your project, I mean. So basically what I'm going to do now is something that you have already seen.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
So here you've kind of put some input statements to get some user inputs as the different variables. I've kind of built a lot of my scraper around, like it can be dynamics. You can scrape 10 links, 500 links, whatever the user wants to put in. Is the best practice by adding input statements into that before we put it into the Docker image?
I mean, ideally you should, I mean, if you're not going to deploy it, if you're not going to upload anything to Docker Hub or to GitHub, you can just play around on your local machine and don't spec any input. You can just put that by yourself.
Okay.
And then when you're ready to deploy that to an EC2 instance or to Docker Hub, in that case, yes, because you don't want to upload any sensitive information.
Okay.
Cool. All right. Sorry, I had to add both or three to the requirements. Completely forget about that. And yeah, elephant. Let's go with elephant. Let's see. And if we, well, credentials is here. And the region, what was the region? US East 1. Good.
But why you have to rebuild the image at any times when you add another name?
Another line? What do you mean?
No, on another name. For example, now we put the name elephant, but the image was already created. Why we have to rebuild it?
Oh, I rebuilt it basically because I had to change the requirements. Because when you build an image, basically you are copying everything. You're copying all your files at that moment. If you change them eventually, yeah, your Docker image is not going to reflect those changes.
Okay.
Cool. Looks like it's working. Let's take a look at the bucket and refresh elephant. Let's see. Download it. Let's see what we get. Good. All right. Nice. So we know how to deal with the Docker, and who can tell me what I have to do now to push it to my Docker hub?
Docker add.
Docker, sorry?
Add.
Oh, that's actually a good guess, but no, in this case you don't have to commit. Sorry, you don't have to stage any change.
Docker push.
Yes, but there's something missing, because if I try to do that animal test, it's going to say that the resource is denied. As I was explaining yesterday, when you push an image, Docker is expecting to have some sort of credentials, so to speak. I don't want to give the solution, so basically I'm being a little bit vague with my description here.
Is it your username from your Docker Hub?
Yes, exactly. So I need to change the name of my image. So it should be something like my username, followed by slash, followed by the actual name of the image. So we need to change the name, Docker, with Docker tag. Let me check the documentation, Docker tag, and let me check the image, the list of images we have. In this case, we want to change this name here. So we have to take the image ID, and from there we are going to rename the image. So once again, with the Docker tag that ID. Oops, I didn't copy that. Sorry. I need to copy this. Copy, paste it here, and now I'm going to give it another name. So my username followed by the actual name of the image we want to give. And now Docker push all of this animal test. Good. And now if we take a look at Docker Hub, well, it might take a few seconds now. Sign in. Okay, so as you can see, I have animal scraper, I have a lot of animal things, but I don't have anything called animal test. Good. So now that's been pushed, and let's refresh the page. And there we go. Animal test is there. You can actually use it if you want now. But what I'm going to do is going to SSH into my EC2 instance. So as always, go to your EC2 instance, click on connect, SSH client, and copy this command.
Could you just remind me what SSH means?
Yeah, SSH means secure shell, which doesn't mean too much probably now, but it's basically the protocol that you are going to use in order to connect through a secure protocol. Okay, that's all the secure shell thing that we are talking about. You are going to use that protocol to connect to your EC2 instance. So basically, you are going to be able to control that computer from your computer using the shell. And yeah, I just moved to desktop, by the way. I just moved to desktop because that's where my March test PEM should be. Good. Now we're here. Docker should be installed from yesterday. Docker // version, and yeah, Docker is installed. And now let's go. Can you tell me what would happen if I just try to run? Oh, sorry. Sudo docker animal test. Can you tell me what will happen if I try to run this container, sorry, this image without downloading it first? Any suggestions?
It doesn't find the image.
Yeah, exactly. It won't find it, but that doesn't mean that it won't try it, because it will try it, and if it doesn't find it, it will go to the repository or it will go to Docker Hub and look for an image with that name. Yeah, it will say unable to find image, and then pulling that from this directory or from this repository. So that was it. But once again, the problem was that I was forgetting about something crucial. It was -t. And another animal.
Dolphin.
Okay, let's see. The problem, I think the problem with this scraper, if it doesn't find at least 10 images or something like that, it will break. Not sure why, but hopefully there will be more than 10 dolphin images. Okay, now it's going to ask us about the AWS key ID. You can do this. I mean, you can do this more efficiently if you use volumes and different Docker options. But in this case, don't worry too much about that. Was East, right? Yes. You can see that it's actually much faster when you deploy that on the EC2 instance. Nice. Let's go. And Dolphin is here and actually has 25 images. Download it and see what we get. Nice. All right. Good. So that was it. That was basically everything I wanted to explain you yesterday. Probably the demo was much longer than I expected. So I will allocate this time to answer your questions, guys. And once again, I will upload this code, very simple code to be honest, but I will upload this code to GitHub and attach this to the to the recording that I will also upload to YouTube.
I might have a stupid question.
Probably not that stupid, trust me.
We'll see. The when you in the scraper file, if I remember correctly, you've got your animal scraper. Yeah, this one. Sorry, I'm thinking of the animal scraper at the moment.
Oh yeah, sorry.
So it's importing from scraper the animal scraper class.
Yes.
That's right, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
But when you do the Docker file, are you putting in both the scraper file and then, or
here the file? I'm just running animal scraper.
Okay, so how does it know where to get the animal scraper? Do you
because
put the other file in?
Because they are in the same directory. Let's take a look here. Let's see if the container should still be there. So git bash. And here, once again, we just move inside the container to take a look at its content. So animal scraper is here, which is the one that we are going to run. And in the same directory, we can find scraper.py. So scraper.py. Oh, sorry. Yep, scraper.py contains everything we put. And the reason it's there is because we are copying everything in that directory. And put that just in the main directory of our container.
All right, yeah, that makes sense. Thank you.
Cool, no worries. Okay, more questions.
Sorry, but how do you know where in your virtual environment the image is located? How do you know it's in bin bash, basically?
In Bash,
Yeah, how do you know you have to go there to get the image?
sorry, I'm not sure I'm following. Do you
Yeah,
mean why am I using the terminal?
in your virtual EC2 instance, you had to cd into bin bash directory.
Okay, so here I'm in the EC2 instance. So what was the question again? Sorry.
You did when you ran it, you went to bin bash directory, didn't you?
Oh, but that was in my local machine.
Sorry, look at it. Okay.
Here I'm not in the EC2 instance. As you can see, I'm using
Okay.
my computer, but here I'm actually using the EC2 instance because I'm using the Ubuntu EC2 instance.
Okay.
But I mean, I could do the same. Actually, I could do the same in my EC2 instance. Just need to take a look at the Docker run IT, and here I put -d to run that container on the background, and then I can move inside. Let's take a look at the name of the container. So it should be sudo docker ps and eager, what the hell, eager baba. So eager baba is going to be the name of my container. Now I can move inside the Docker container by saying docker execute -it, the name of the container, followed by bin bash. So the question was this, like, why am I using bash? Or
Yeah, pretty much.
okay, yeah, that's a fair question. That's actually a good question. The thing is that we are using this base image. This image is based on Ubuntu. Well, actually, it's based on it's based on Linux, on a Linux distribution. All the Linux distribution will have, or at least most of them, and I don't want to say all because that might be a little bit risky, but probably all of them will have this bash command. And bash is, well, yeah, basically bash is going to be the terminal. So all the Linux distribution will have that bash inside.
All right. Okay.
All right. So what I'm saying here is that, all right, get inside that container and execute this command. So if, for example, I go here, actually, if you go to your local machine and write bin bash, it's not going to do anything because you are already in bash. It's going to say, all right, so now open my terminal. That's basically what I'm saying here. And when I'm saying bin bash here, when executing the Docker container, it's like, all right, go to the Docker container called eager baba and execute bin bash. So open that terminal inside the Docker container. And you can see that we are like in a different computer, so to speak, because this thing here on the left-hand side has changed. And we can take a look at its content.
Okay, thanks.
No worries. Wait, why Iguana is there? Did I build the image with Iguana on it? Oh yeah, I forgot to delete Iguana. No worries. Cool. So yeah, this is going to be like a separate computer, but it's quite, as I was mentioning, it might be very helpful to get inside your container to see its content and to debug whatever you are doing when you create that container.
Good.
Cool. More questions? Okay, I see on the chat, Barney, that you were asking -IT, but I'm not sure. Oh yeah, I think that was like 40 minutes ago. Sorry about that. Cool. In that case, I guess there's no more questions. After this, the only thing remaining for you will be monitoring using Prometheus and Grafana, and after that, implementing the CI/CD pipeline. But that's actually something that you just need to follow some steps that are quite predefined, so it's quite easy. Just make sure you follow the right steps, and you will be good to go.
Great.
Cool. If there's no more questions, I'm going to stop it here.
And just another question. And if just to make the image interactive, and after that our image will be found, or we have to still download the image, or on the last command, when you add it to make it interactive, it's enough just to add to it, and our image will be found, or this
IT will be basically applied to whatever we find. If it's not found, it will try to find it on Docker Hub. It will try to do that. It will try to find that image, whether we put this IT or not. This is just making everything interactable. So if we put an input, or if we put the input function in our Python script, then we will need to use this -IT. Okay, I'm not sure if that solves the question.
Yeah, because on the when you write sudo docker run -IT, and after that the name of the image, before you run this without -IT, and the image it doesn't found the image, and after that when you add the -IT, was found.
Yes. Okay, yeah, I get what you mean. Okay, so yeah, actually that might be a little bit confusing. The thing is that, yeah, thanks for the question, Bianca. So the thing is that the first time I run this, I forgot to put -IT. So when you don't find the image, or when Docker doesn't find the image, what it will do is download that image from Docker Hub, and it will be already stored on your local machine or on your EC2 instance. So next time I run this sudo docker run -IT or -IT, it was already there, because let me just start over. So I think now I got a more clear explanation. So basically, the first time I ran it, it didn't find it. So what it did was sudo docker pull and then run. So it will, if you don't find an image, it will do sudo docker pull, the name of the image, let's say animal. I think I have another one called animal scraper, if I remember correctly. Animal scraper, yes. And then after that, sudo docker run -IT. So this, well, actually, let me remove the -IT, so we run the same thing. This thing here is equivalent to this thing here if this image wasn't available. So if I try to run that, yeah, it's going to do the same, and then it will run that image. But this could be replaced directly with sudo docker run, because if it's not available, it will first pull or download and then run it. once again, I didn't put the -it.
But if you put the -it from the beginning.
Okay. Yeah, that will also work. That will work fine actually. Let's just remove the images that we have. Inspect, see, pull, save tag, docker image. Yes. Let's take a look at the list of images we have. Animal test, supla, animal scribble. Wait, animal image. Remove. Sorry, remove. I'm going to remove, for example, animal test. This one here. Copy, paste. Let's just remove scraper. It's using its reference. Which one is using? Dang it. Sorry, let me just container remove. Oh, sorry, prune. Yes. Okay. Yeah, what I'm doing here is basically stopping all the containers, or just removing all the stopped containers. That way, the images that were, sorry, the containers that were generated out of these images were just removed. So this should work fine now. Good. So what I'm going to do, as you can see, Bianca, here, I'm going to list all my images, and let's just put -8 just to show you that I'm not hiding anything. And yeah, in this case, we don't have anything called animal scraper. So I'm going to run directly sudo docker pull, there you go. I'm going to run that directly using -it. So once again, it will download it and then it will run it properly.
Okay.
The reason it was failing, it was because it wasn't interactive or interactable. So that was basically the reason it was failing. But the second time I run it properly using -it. So it was working fine because I basically I basically had it already downloaded. Nice. Cool. More questions? All right. So in that case, yeah, let's stop it here.